And we welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. This episode is right after the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Boston Bruins 6-4 on Saturday, January 24th. Bruins now fall to 1-4 coming out of the Christmas break. As always, Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, folks, is proudly presented by our lead in-pod sponsor, Fazenda Coffee Roasters. If you want to serve the best coffee in town, Fazenda Coffee Roasters, they partner with cafes, bakeries, and restaurants to bring you the highest quality, freshest roasted beans, and unmatched support. Whether you're just starting a venture or you want to upgrade your coffee menu, Fazenda has the perfect solution for you. Same for you at home. Check out fazendacoffee.com/wholesale if you've got a business, or fazendacoffee.com/morningbrew. And you can book a call today if you have a business that you can talk with them, see how you can elevate your coffee products. And again, check out all the Morning Brew stuff, the hats, clean canteens, and the Morning Brew blend. Thank you to Fazenda Coffee. All right, Razor, where do we start with this one? Is it as simple as just saying the Austin Matthews return, the top line performance for the Toronto Maple Leafs was the difference in the game? Or is that simplifying things too much, partner?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do with that. I think it goes a little deep. Listen, we're starting to. I've been saying it now a little bit, maybe not so much publicly, but thinking it and looking at it, and I think we saw it again tonight, that without Lindholm, they're on the back end, Hampus Lindholm, their depth is being, and their D is getting run down just a little bit. They don't have that same back end, and I think Carlo's been really affected by it. I think McAvoy's been in a lot of situations. Him and Lindholm or Zadorov have kind of got a bit of a groove, but beyond that, in a barn like Toronto with a lineup like Toronto, there's just not. It's tough. There's some tough matchups for them, and Lohrei gets out there with those guys, and they just don't have that third guy that's real solid for them. And I think we saw some of that tonight. Just how quick strike it was. They didn't play badly, and this is the other unfortunate thing too, is that it's 3 nights in a row, and this is kind of, now I'm rambling. Sorry to start the show like this.
Hey,
but
you know what? I do it all the time. So
the other thing is this is the week where their start caught up with them, because they haven't played poorly, but because they've lost 3 in a row and because they had a bad start, it's worse. Like you are going to have weeks like this, and Sacco said as much the last few days, where you just don't, it just doesn't go your way. But the fact that they had such a bad first 20 games, these ones are harder to take than if they had 6 more wins in the bank. Then you'd be like, it's just kind of the flow of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the luxury of this happening to them. And I'm saying the same thing you are, just packaging it a little different. The problem is they're going to, as you just said. However, they've got to stop this ASAP, because I know we still say there's a lot of time left, but and if they don't reestablish themselves, with some wins, some points, they had points on the table here. I'm not going to live in the past, but as we talked about the Ranger game, the Washington game, find a way to get a point, and they didn't. They're finding themselves in a major battle going on right now. If you look at the points percentage, and Tampa is coming into business tonight, Razor, again, January 4th, Saturday night. Tampa's at 600, and Ottawa right behind them, meaning points-wise behind Tampa at 526. Meanwhile, the Bruins at 537 points percentage. So my point is, it's not, yes, they're in a playoff spot, and I know we had a ways to go for the playoffs, but we got to be honest that this is going to, if they don't get themselves straightened out here soon, this is going to make it even tighter and more difficult on them, because, again, to your point about their start. With all that said, let's go to the start again. For the 3rd game in a row, they start damn well. They start real well. So they're coming to play. but then it's, it still ends up not getting rewarded right away. And boy, does that make a huge difference. And it's a good start. A couple of looks, a couple of hits, but then it's the McCabe goal. And this was a sign of things to come, I think, Bud, for defensive blunders. And this is such a good offensive opponent that you give them a little bit, they're going to take it a long way.
Yeah, yes, no question, and they don't need much. And Matthews, they were physical tonight. And again, the Bruins there was kind of more like what we saw at the start, where they were very close but not there. It was like they're 6 inches away, 7 inches away on these plays in zone, not quite there. And it was the first goal. They were all in the zone, but somehow McCabe's wide open. The tip shot, Zadorov's right there, but doesn't get Nice's stick. And then, of course, the two in the third, everyone's kind of around watching Nice again. So just a little off defensively, which we haven't seen in a little while. And this Leafs teams, you might get away with it against a struggling Rangers team or a not as offensive Islanders team, for instance. But the Leafs, they'll make you pay.
By the way, I'm not jumping ahead, but you bring up the Islanders, who the Bruins play on Sunday evening at TD Garden, 6:00 face-off. I think that's going to be a tough game, bud. That's going to be a tough game because you left it all on the line. You left it all out there against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Meanwhile, the Islanders are sitting here in Boston. Now, the Islanders have also been licking their wounds because they haven't been playing well. They're taking a lot of heat. They're going to have to be desperate. So the Bruins, instead of going and saying, all right, we just play our game, we'll be fine. I think they're going to have a tough go at it on Sunday evening. So I hope I'm wrong. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm saying it's going to be very tough, though, given the situation. All right. I know that there were 2 empty net goals scored. I get it. But this is now the 8th time this year that 5 or more goals have been scored on the Bruins. And you can go back to early on in the year. You can go back to some of the defensive issues. You can go back to some of those one-off games and everything. But again, I mean, maybe it's repetitive, but I'll ask, is this just what the Bruins are going to be this year? Razor, I know they've gotten better defensively, but 8 times, that's a lot. 5 or more goals given up. And does Hampus Lindholm bring enough to rectify this? Are we seeing anything structurally, or we're like, you know what? We got to understand these type of games going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, I put there. Most of them were early in the year with a different coach. There's 2 since Christmas. Again, the Columbus one, like both of these, whatever. Like they're 2 empty net goal, whatever. It was, it doesn't. So I don't think so. I think it's just the way the league is. I think the league with the penalties. I think the league with the schedule. I think the league with the empty net goals. You could go through and see a lot of teams ended up having these kind of games on fairly regular basis, much more than usual. That's why save percentages are all, the average save percentage is under 900. Like we haven't seen that since 1986, and there's a reason for it. It's these big kind of
we have some
runaway kind of games offensively.
We have some big mood swings right now.
Correct. There is every team, every group, every game seems to, you're right, have these big mood swings, and the league is it's weird. It's just a weird league this year.
Let's run through the game. Let's run through the box score and tell you how everything happened. We mentioned the McCabe goal. That was his first of the season, 3:29 in the first period. Puck came off the right wall. It was, what was it, Matthews on Lindholm, pick of the stick, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. McCabe ends up getting the pass from Marner. McCabe is on the left side. We talked a little bit about, but like in the first period, there were 3 or 4 golden chances that came for the Toronto Maple Leafs, starting with this goal that initiated off of their right wing side, or the Bruins' left D side. And then the left side for the offensive side for the Leafs was wide open. McCabe comes in from the left, reaches for the puck, smokes it over the short side, over the shoulder of Jeremy Swayman to make it a 1-0 lead, 3:29 in. You mentioned, Razor, in the broadcast that you thought the little reach by McCabe may have just given him almost an advantage because it made the read a little different for Swayman. Explain that here on the pod.
Yeah, the pass ended up being longer, and Marner kind of held it, and McCabe went outside. He didn't cut to the middle, so that pass wasn't as quick as what Swayman thought. He hit his knees right away, slid. McCabe holds on to it or gets it a little bit later than Swayman reacts to. Just the way the pass came through the stick of the Bruins D-man. He slid instead of coming over on his feet. If he could do it again, if he knew he had that extra split second, he probably tries to get there on his feet. But he thought it was going to be more of a bang pass, just a tough read. And that's what allowed that open area above his shoulder to open up, because he was already down and sliding down, not getting there on his feet.
All right, so that's 1-0. That was the only goal scored, Razor, in the first period. Shots were 9 for the Bruins, 11 for the Leafs. Bruins did have some good chances again in that period. One guy who stood out to us, played well, came to play, no doubt, was Trent Frederic. Had a one-timer in that period, had some other good opportunities hounding the puck. But again, it was a 1-0 game. You're like, all right, not bad, not great, but not bad. You get out of that first period. But 3:37 into the second period, again, after a good start, good breakouts, puck up the ice, etc. It ends up being a goal by the youngster, the kid from Arizona, not Matthews, but Matt Nyes. Matthews and Nyes, both from the state of Arizona. Nyes is going to get a play, that a pass, from Matthews, who seals the wall on the left side after McAvoy. The puck comes deep into the zone. Long story short, he ends up rimming the puck around when he finally gains control of it. Perhaps, I think it may have been Marchand that was there that maybe stretched a bit. Maybe he thought he had him. Regardless, the puck gets rimmed around to an easy spot for Matthews to seal it, just like how previous game, Kreider had his stick on the ice and intercepted the Swayman outlet. Matthews gets the puck half wall. Nice streaks more towards the middle of the ice, right? About 10 feet, maybe not even 6, 8 feet in front of the net, and just redirects the puck for his 12th goal of the season past Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah, and in that case, Brad did stretch, but he stretched because he had a lot of room because the defense were changing. The wingers, as long as he's underneath that
and
defenseman,
yeah,
that's on the strong side. He's in okay position. So McAvoy has to find a way to get it past that winger, the centerman, that high man, and it's got to be off the glass. Whatever it is, it's got to get past that. Brad can't be all the way underneath Matthews in that situation, right? So Charlie needed a better play there, and again, because it's bang bang, Zadorov can't close out on Matt Nyes. He sticks free right in front of the net, and these guys are good with their tips. They're really good with their sticks in front, and Nyes made no mistake, and Matthews put it right in the perfect spot where, kind of that back shoulder throw that quarterbacks throw in the NFL where no one can get it but their own guy. That was the kind of pass that Matthews gave Nyes.
Yeah, and I don't want to say nothing was going on for the Leafs, but it wasn't like they were rolling there. That one play, no,
they really didn't roll at all night, and that's what's got to be really frustrating for the coaching staff, is that they actually didn't allow them. Like, we've seen them, and the Bruins have been able to weather it at times. We've seen them where they have possession, it feels like 15 minutes of a period in their own zone, in second periods, especially in the Toronto AC. I always go AC Scotiabank, where the Leafs just have it the whole period and you're icing it, but there was none of that tonight, and that's what's even more frustrating, giving up the 4 regular goals.
In fact, they were icing the puck more than the Bruins were.
Yeah.
All right, so that's at 3:37 of the second, but then 3:49, just 12 seconds later, the Bruins respond off the face-off. It's going to end up being Morgan Geekie who's going to hammer it home from the left side. The righty ends up getting a nice play, the righty shot from Pavel Zacha, who is in front of the net, and it just kind of, I'll call it, hacks the puck after Charlie Coyle. And also, again, helped with the forecheck, got it in and flushed the puck to the front. Zacha is going to then just kind of swat at it, push it, and from the right side or the glove side of Joe Woll over to the blocker side, and no chances. Morgan Geekie puts his 9th goal of the year, and Morgan Geekie continues his tremendous play, his renaissance, so to speak, with Joe Sacco as the interim head coach.
He's had an awesome December 1st, done an awesome 5 weeks, and as he's with the coaching change, no longer a healthy scratch, had an opportunity to move up into the lineup. He's taken full advantage, and as bad as his first month was, and as frustrating as it is, as I'm sure it was as a free agent looming, he shook out of it, and now he's really pacing in a great direction. He's important every night. He's in the mix every night. His physicality's gone up. His confidence is rising. He's shooting pucks, and the puck's also finding him because of all those things now.
So that made it 2-1, a huge goal for this team, obviously at that time. And then they're able to not hold on and weather the storm. They're playing some good hockey, some chances. Again, both teams in getting some opportunities. But it's a face-off as the Bruins finally, off of one of these icings. Later in the period, the Bruins really started to do some better things. And I don't remember how many icings it was, at least 3, maybe by the Leafs. It ends up being a face-off in the offensive zone on the right wing side. It's Max Domi going against Trent Frederic. Frederic ends up winning the faceoff, getting it to a streaking down the wall Charlie McAvoy, who then sets up Frederic with the shot. And Trent Frederic gets a goal, his 6th goal of the season. He hadn't scored in how many games? In forever, since he had the 2 goals against Philadelphia. But because he earned it in the first period, we felt he kept doing good things in the second period, moving his feet, being physical. Freddie gets his 6th goal of the season.
It was, and again, deserved, well deserved. It's been said a lot tonight, and a great shot. That's the shot we saw last year. Yeah, he's had a dozen of those opportunities this season. He's missed the net, or he's hit the chest, but this was no mistake. He got all the flex. He had all the technique on this one, and he sizzled it low blocker. And he was real excited. You could see how,
yes, he was.
That's as excited as I've seen him this season, even on the Philly game that he got to, and he wasn't, he was more frustrated. At this one was finally in relief and the whole thing. So great stuff, great timing for him, and he's kind of at the same point where you want to say, okay, hopefully it has to turn into something for him. It has to give him confidence. He has to find a way to get the snowball running. He just can't afford to go another 10 games without scoring. He just can't.
He has to build off this.
Yeah.
And he's known for being called a more of a power forward grind type of guy. Well, he's got to get back to that. And he did in this game. He was on top of players. He was physically demanding in this game. The cliche, the puck found him because he was moving regularly in the area, not waiting to. So couldn't agree with you more. He's got to do that. Let's hope that that's one of the few, again, we'll call not moral victories, but silver linings to this game, is that Frederic got going again. And by the way, he's a lefty taking the faceoff on the right side. Traditionally, you would think that it would line up with a righty there if possible, but on his line, he ends up being the guy, the go-to guy, and he ends up pushing the puck. And this is a smart play because he wants the puck to go towards the wall, regardless, where McAvoy is being the right defenseman. And it works out perfectly. As you said, he ends up having a really good shot. By the way, in the second period, we saw late first period. Late first period, a change of lines. Originally, Marchand and Pastrnak and Lindholm were aligned, but then Joe Sacco ended up reverting back to the more traditional lines where Coyle ends up going back there and Pastrnak goes with Geekie and Zacha, and that benefited the team too. So it's 2-2 at the end of 2. The shots were 12 for Boston, 10 for Toronto. So, Razor, now we go into the third period, and this is where, again, we see some self-inflicted stuff. Matt Nyes is going to get a second of the game from Tavares and Marner, but this is all about, as you mentioned earlier in the open, Carlo just kind of, he misses the puck, I guess, kind of whiffs on it right there, and jumping to the inside from the right to the right side, jumping to the inside was Matt Nyes, and he got it. And then he just does a spin move. I'll give the kid credit. It's a good move, especially for a big guy like he is. Swayman seems to, you tell me, does he overslide just a little bit, not knowing exactly perhaps where the point of release is going to be? Because then it beats him low on that glove side, goes under the leg glove side into the net.
I'm not really I'm not sure. For sure. Well, I'm pretty sure that Swayman just assumed Carlo was going to get it, and he kind of followed Carlo's stick a little bit. And then I assume somewhat of panic set in a little bit and just feeling like he's way behind. It was just such, it was a broken play all around, which
Yeah.
again just got him twisted around. I don't know if he went for a poke check or if Nyes kind of just with the spinorama, he got ahead of it was really hard to tell from the video and watching it, but why he did it, I'm not sure, but he certainly did get ahead of the play.
Yeah,
He
just a
certainly
little.
did,
That's all it took.
and with Nyes spinorama backhand, like it's just an odd play. But again, credit to Nyes for hockey IQ and sense and understanding and body spatial awareness. Body movement.
Tavares and Marner with the assist. That's at the 3:43 mark, but the Bruins respond just a couple of seconds later. I think it was 34 seconds later, 4:17 mark. It's David Pastrnak. Pastrnak with a real good play. It's an unassisted play. I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe Geekie doesn't have, because it's actually in control. I believe it was John Tavares with the puck stripped from him. Is that correct? Right?
Yeah.
That is. It was Tavares, right? So this is in the Toronto zone. The puck is not all the way at the blue line, maybe 10 feet inside or so. And Geekie's there above it. Pastrnak comes and he gets in and he strips the puck and he brings it to the middle. And with a Pastrnak shot, I mean, it's not a slap shot. He loads for the wrist shot and he's got a great release, keeps it away from the defenseman. I believe it was Benoit. I don't have it in front of me, that tries to stretch out. It's either Benoit or McCabe. Regardless, he beats Joe Wall with a heck of a shot. I mean, that was a pasta play. That was a star type play right there, Razor. Not just the work ethic, but the skill set that we saw there.
Yeah, just the patented David pump fake wrister all in one motion. We've seen a lot of those blocked this season. We've seen him not with the pump fake, just shooting right away and it getting blocked. So just a really nice job. That was the second one of the night. He got one through earlier, right away at the start of the game. The first 30 seconds, it hit the post and almost went in. He has Wall's number, that high blocker. He feels very confident shooting there on Joe. That's the book, I suppose, for him. And it was, again, you feel great at that time. Like, okay, the Bruins coughed one up, but the Leafs coughed one up here. Right in the perfect spot to find a way to get a point in the road and maybe, heroics in overtime like we always see. So that was fun. That was like, okay, bang, bang. This is a great game and everyone's having fun here. The Bruins should hold on here.
But wait, there's more, as the
Yeah,
infomercials
exactly.
like to say. Just some seconds later, it's going to end up being Matt Nyes. It's actually a minute and I believe it's 11 seconds later. Nyes is going to get his hat trick, his third goal of the game. It's going to be a play by Austin Matthews. The puck goes from down the right half wall, just outside. It's chipped down in and to the glove side of Swayman. McAvoy's going back below the goal line to get it. Austin Matthews, though, really keeps his feet moving. And he gets kind of shimmy to the inside. He uses his big body to shield McAvoy from getting there. You can see McAvoy take the hit and kind of go down, and Matthews gets it and in one motion turns on the forehand, sees a streaking Nyes coming into the right side or from the right lane, inside part of the circle, then to the middle ice, and he gets it. And it's a one-timer, not a slap, or more like a snap that goes top corner on the blocker side. A bang play. I think a lot of it had to do with the entry, but really more than anything, it was the effort, ability, vision of Austin Matthews, who picks up the assist, that made this play happen.
Yeah, exactly. And Nyes was certainly the beneficiary of a great game from Austin Matthews tonight. And it was him getting on the forecheck, being physical, and yeah, just basically manhandling Charlie behind the net. And because of that, the other guys aren't expecting that much or that puck to turn over that quickly. So no one's closed nearly quick enough. Zadorov stepped up on the 2-on-2 on the initial dump in. He got
Right,
beat back to the front of the net by Nyes. Geekie's not going to come all the way down to the middle. Zaka gets the puck past him because he thinks he has to close on Matthews. Because of, again, bang, bang, how quick that turnover happened, no one could really get into their defensive structure off of it, and a great pass by Austin.
And it wasn't so much that the shot was blistering hot or hard. It was the quick release. And I think it had a little, super slow-mo shows it's kind of floating, but it's the quick release of it and how it just ticketed for the corner. I'm not saying, I mean, I don't know how much of a chance you would think that a goaltender there that Swayman has there, but to me, it's the bang nature of the play that made it very difficult for
Yeah,
Swayman to stop.
it was like the knuckle that
Yep.
kind of looped up and over right into the corner. It got up real quick and not real tough play for a goaltender there. It has to hit you.
So it is 4-3 at that time. Remember, that's at 5:28, and then the Bruins, they have some chances. They're pushing hard. They're not giving up by any stretch. Finally, though, they have to pull the goalie, and it's an empty net goal by Mitch Marner, his 14th goal of the season, late in the third, that makes it 5-3. And you're thinking, all right, it's going to be over, right? That's it. It's all done. The Bruins call a timeout. They pull the goaltender again. They work the puck right point to left point. McAvoy ends up throwing it towards the net from the right side. And Zacha, again, just like over to Geekie, this time he is able to work it over, pass it over quickly for his 11th assist of the season to David Pastrnak, who's on the blocker side or the left side of Joe Woll. Empty net, wide open net, puts it in. And again, Razor, we're sitting there, we're saying, all right, well, the Bruins are showing some gumption. They've got life again.
They did, and they have, and that's the again a takeaway from maybe a 3-game losing streak that we saw in October, November, start of November. This one looks different because of that gumption that they've shown all 3 days, and that didn't change tonight. The effort was there all the way to the end. You know, finally got a 6-on-5 goal, so another silver lining that's positive. To only have one of those in the first 41 games is not ideal, but they did get one. So yeah, no, they pushed all the way to the end. They had some opportunities similar to the last couple of games in a 1-goal game to tie it. Just wasn't enough to get over the edge.
Pasta's 15th of the year, second goal of the game. And so what did you say? That's his first 2-goal game of the year.
First multi-goal game.
First multi-goal game this season. Scary.
That's
because
wild.
So different.
Yeah, so different
than what we're used to. That's at the 1810 mark, folks. And then at the 1929 mark, the Bruins still opportunities. They pull the goalie again. They're in the offensive zone, but it's going to end up being Austin Matthews in a foot race with McAvoy. He ends up diving. Where did he dive? Probably top of the circles, maybe a little bit above that.
Yeah.
And it's a smart dive. He's got good speed going, but he understands. Yeah, with purpose. He ends up knocking it all the way into the empty net, and that's his 12th goal of the season at the 1929 mark. Marner and Nyes with the assist. Check out these numbers for those top guys. Mitch Marner, 1 goal, 4 assists, +5. Matt Nyes, 3 goals, 2 assists, +6. Austin Matthews, 1 goal, 2 assists. Just a regular 3-point game. He was a +5. Everybody else on their team, well, Tanev was a +2, and McCabe was a +3. Everybody else was a minus. Yeah, obviously.
Unbelievable.
6 shots for Matt Nyes. You could have named any one of them the first star of the game, but Nyes deserved it. I mean, holy shit. 5 points and a +6. The shots on goal ended up being 31 for Boston, 29 for Toronto. Power plays were minimal in this game. Both teams considered 0 for 2, but they each only had 2 minutes and 20 seconds of power play time. No power play goals in this game. As I said, Bruins, one little thing. It's not so little. For the second game in a row, Razor, they lose out on a power play very early due to a high stick. This time it was by Elias Lindholm. Previously, it was David Pastrnak. We said it before earlier in the season. And I'm going to say it again. It may be accidental, but that's got to stop. That's got to stop. You got to be in control of your stick, especially in the offensive zone, especially on the power play.
You do, and you the power play's got enough issues that one you can't be worried about that, and it wasn't good in the first, and then to only have the 20 seconds or 19 seconds in the second it's hard to win on the road if you're not giving yourself those opportunities. It just makes it that much tougher.
Let's do the I don't want to throw too much of a curveball here, so RC I know, but I'm going to do the Apex most entertaining moment of the game. I'll give Ryan a extra half second to be able to do that, because usually we go to Graciano here, but we'll do Apex. Thank you, RC. What's your Apex most entertaining moment of this game? A lot of goals. A lot of goals.
A lot of goals. I would love to give it to Freddie, but I'm going to give it to David 3-3, because the 3-3 one was really good. I like the bounce back on the Geekie at 2-1, but to give up the goal, to go down 3-2 early in the third, 3-3 right away, that's the one for me. And it was just an absolute rocket from David that we haven't seen too many of. So that's my Apex.
All right. And I'll give my Apex most entertaining moment to a wild third period. We almost got what Razor wanted. Actually, Razor said it'd be nice to have a 6-5 game. All of us, Razor, me, Dale, were kind of, I don't know, our energy was down a bit. We were tired. Maybe it's the freaking cold weather that's picking up here. I don't know. Razor's like, yeah, we could use a 6-5 game here.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, by the end of the game, we almost did. So I'll call it the 6 goals scored in the third period is entertaining. 100,000 square feet of pure fun. Go check out apexentertainment.com. Apex Entertainment, where it's always sunny and thankfully warmer inside than outside. All right, Graciano Construction. Now we want to thank them. Serving Boston and the Greater Metro West area. Graciano Construction, the contractor that you want to reach out to, folks. Doug Graciano and his crew. They do everything with such pride and amazing professionalism. Give them a call at 508-330-7589 or go to gracianoconstruction.com. They've also got a great Instagram account. You can check out all the projects that they've been doing. But give them a call, send them an email, and they'll discuss, whatever you want, what you're looking to do. No job too big or too small. Check out gracianoconstruction.com. And lastly, the Boston real estate market, and not just Boston, Mass, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. It's always changing. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease your place in Mass, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire, check out RTN Realty for all your real estate needs. Chris Gentile and his staff of 16 agents and support staff, they've got you covered, Razor, for whatever you're looking to do. Reach out to Chris at cgentile, Gentile, at rtnrealty.com. or call him at 617-835-0845 for a no-pressure consultation. Chris has over 22 years of experience and over 2,500 real estate transactions in his career. Go check him out. Again, call him at 617-835-0845. Tell him the guys from Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor sent you. All right, I want to ask you a couple of things here. Mason Lohrei, I know we've talked about the ups and downs, the trials, the tribulations of a young defenseman. We know he's got the offensive flair. We talked about some of the, his mistake in the Ranger game. We're seeing some other stuff. He's, in my eyes, he's struggling. He's struggling defensively. Do you keep him in for a game against the Islanders that, again, I'm just saying in theory, maybe it helps them get going. They're not as offensively gifted. However, on the other hand, there have been some mistakes. And is it maybe a time to say, hey, you know what? We get it. It's the up and down season for young defensemen. Take a watch at this game, on this one.
It could be Wotherspoon's played well the last few times he's been out, but this goes back to the Hampus Lindholm. It makes it harder because of the offensive limitations of a Parker Wotherspoon who hasn't scored for Boston Bruins. Andrew Peeke hasn't scored for Boston. Like you're really down. So, you look at a game like tonight, Lohrei's got to be out there at the end of the games. He's got to be the option there. And then the PP2, the power play struggled. So he's an option, right? So I agree with you. The ideal situation is to have him in a place where he can sit after having a tough couple of decision-making type games that he has had this week, like all week, or at least even from the Christmas break. Because in Columbus, he was on the ice for 4 or 5 of the goals as well. I know he had a +4 the next night, but the night before he was on for 4 or 5, and then the two-on-ones he gave up in New York early. So there's a bit of a pattern here in the middle of the season for a young guy where you'd love to sit him down. I'm just curious, are they going to sacrifice the offense from the back end there? And again, back to not having Hampus around. But I could, with the way that the way somebody has to sit out, and it might not be a bad night tomorrow night to have Mace do that.
It'd be interesting to see what they would do for another power play quarterback.
Well, that's it. Right.
You know, to your
maybe
point,
you go to 5 forwards. Can we go to 5 forwards? We haven't seen that this year.
Are we at that point? That seems for
I
a guy who's
I literally just came out of my mouth now. I had not thought about it once in the last 41 days. And I don't know why, actually. They probably should go for it. Let's see 5 forwards out there. I don't know.
Well, for a guy who's what I always call is you're very stable and you're very sane. And, you know, at times when I want to go this way, you bring me back a little bit the other way. I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
It surprised me a little. You know, the other
but
thing,
you don't have a Krejci. But you don't have that's
no,
I
know.
Just don't have a Krejci, like the guy who could potentially handle that. But it's maybe not a bad idea. I mean,
yeah, maybe it's just. But the other thing, you know what? Maybe get Zadorov out there. Let her rip. Like, set him up for something. Just those are 2 options that just came to my head. So put 5 forwards out there and see. You lose a shot option because, you know, none of your forwards are really going to hit, you know, unless you put David up at the top. But you could also get Zadorov out there and maybe just have him hit the net. I know he's not a power play guy, but
he'd like to be out there.
He would not turn it down. That's for sure. He would not be turning it down, and he would shoot it.
Yeah, he can heavy. Yeah. Zadorov, by the way, played just under 23 minutes in the game against Toronto. Some other numbers that jump out. McAvoy hit 25 again. He had 2 assists in this game as well. Those are the only 2 guys and the D-core, unless I'm missing something, that played over 20 minutes. Pavel Zacha played basically 20 minutes, 1958, and he took faceoffs. Yeah, last game was the first game all season where he didn't take any faceoffs. So maybe it was more situational than anything. Hopefully he's, you know, I thought perhaps not taking faceoffs a sign of something, but he had 2 assists, and again, he was 3 of 7 in the faceoff circle. Mentioned Trent Frederic. We both liked his game. He played over 15 minutes. He had 3 shots, 3 hits. He was 3 of 8 in the faceoff circle. So those were good. Some numbers that weren't so good. Elias Lindholm, -3. Marchand, -3. Yes, they're out there also with the empty net goals, but it's still a dash when they're out there. And obviously it's you know, it's part of it. You're given the responsibility and the opportunity to be out there. That's also the negative potential that can come with it is the minus. As we mentioned too, David with 2 goals in this game, Trent Frederic with 1, Coyle with 1 assist, and who else? I already told you, Charlie McAvoy with 2 assists as well. Bruins lose the faceoff battle, 25 wins, 30 losses. All right, so we assume though that it's going to be Jonas Korpisalo that will be in net against the New York Islanders. I mean, it's got him written all over it, rightfully so. You're facing an Islander team coming in, Razor, that has struggled. However, there's nothing that you can take for granted right now for this Bruins team. And they need this game. They need to figure it out. And they need to see this Islander team is going through a lot of their own drama, just like the New York Rangers are right now, whether it's about what, you know, when you talk about pulling the goaltender, Patrick Waugh the other night pulled the goaltender with the faceoff in his own zone. Rare. I've seen it before, but not often, you know, especially at the NHL level. It didn't work. It backfired. I mean, it was against the Toronto Maple Leafs a couple of nights ago. They do have Matt Barzal back in the lineup. Anders Lee has led them in scoring. So there will be a challenge here, but hopefully the Bruins will be up for it. It's a quick turnaround, but this is part of the schedule that they're in right now.
That's it. And everyone's grinding through it. There's lots of games because of what February is going to look like for everybody. And you got to find a way. Stop the, 3 in a row is one thing, 4 in a row is a whole nother. So you gotta find a way.
All right. Razor and I are not doing a show after the Islander game. We will not have a new Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor after Sunday's game. We will be back with a new episode after Tuesday's game against the Edmonton Oilers. The Boston Bruins lose in Toronto 6-4. They are now 1-4 since the break. Hopefully on Sunday night, they can get back into the win column. Hang in there, guys. We understand it doesn't always look pretty, and right now it might not feel great, but hang in there. Hopefully some good things can come out of this game, but the Bruins lose again. Let's see if they can change things on Sunday night. In the meantime, between now and then, go enjoy yourself a cup of coffee, because damn is it getting cold.